Hello. This is Country Conversations with Diva D. This is going to be my episode recap of Sistas, Season 7, Episode 2, Drunken Love. I'm sorry, excuse me. How you doing? Don't forget, in honor of Mother Wendy, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share my videos. They are good enough to share. Trust me. And people are so receptive to my sister's videos and how I throw in my good imitation. So share the videos and let people know that I'm over here at Country Conversations with DVD. And let them know that girl is entertaining. Okay, now, okay, I pops my collar. Who else gonna pop it? Okay, all right, now let's get on to this episode. Yeah, guys. I know for sure Tyler is mad at us, and he's just throwing bullshit up against the wall so we can say, "Hey, we want you back." We don't. Stay on over there, but stop giving these new writers your input, cause we don't need it. They don't need it, and we need these stories to develop. It has been 7 whole entire years, and we don't know any of their parents. And the only reason why we know Zach's mother is because she's over there on Zatima. Sorry. And please let's not forget that over there on Zatima, that Fatima is pregnant. Is this supposed to be before? Now, mind you, it's a time jump on here. So is this supposed to be before or after? Because later on in the episode, I'm sitting here wondering what in the world is going on when they're talking about these children. So I guess Sisters is supposed to be. That's what happens when you keep the same characters on spinoffs and don't just let them come by and visit. Because, like I said, in the spinoffs in the 80s and the great spinoffs of the 80s, people barely even knew after the first, second, or third episode that they were spinoffs. You just had to keep reminding yourself, just like I believe what started was it was Maud, right? And then Maud, and then all of the family, and then Good Times, then Jefferson. All of those were spinoffs, right? And once George Jefferson left Archie Bunker and chunked up the deuces and even in their nice home and moved out of their nice home into the deluxe apartment in the sky, you didn't see Archie Bunker no more. Now, I did want to keep the integration of the shows to make it different from all other spinoffs. However, this seems like it has nothing to do with Zatima other than the same character names. Fatima and Zach. And that's it. But anyway, let me start this episode out because it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They are still at the quadruple um, penthouse party, and P-Nail catches Gary whacking off his talent. And P-Nail called him sick and then left him in the bathroom. Now, mind you, Gary doesn't even wipe the jizz off his hands. So he pats Jordan on the arm and say, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And wipes his nasty jizz on Jordan's arm. And the thing about it is P-Nail knows that he has jizz on his hands. But, I guess she's so disappointed in his behavior. Now, what did you think he was going to do? Did you really think that this man was over, Andy? Look around the apartment in the sky. Okay? You could look at that apartment and tell that he has his handprints all over it. So that couldn't mean anything good. I mean, and then this quadruple. Guys, this is so unrealistic. Who does this in real life? I know this is supposed to be a Germany, and if it is a Germany, can we incorporate real life situations into this? Nobody is gonna have a quadrangle with that's like this. Now, like I said in the past, I have dated many men who were friends on the back end that I didn't know about. And most of those relationships didn't work out. Because it was always this um, feeling of uncomfortability, if you will. Um, my two of my exes, right? I can give you a prime example. The first ex was best friends with my friend's husband. Okay, I hope y'all following this because this is very similar. And the second ex was cousins to my best friend's husband. Got it so far? So let me rewind. My best friend's husband was friends with the first ex. But the second ex was not friends with the first ex, but he was cousins to my best friend's husband. So it was a situation where we were around each other and it felt like boo boo. Okay. After that, I made sure that there was no more accidental running. This is because it's a strange feeling, even though this was not even close to what this quadruple has going on this show. So, in even that real life situation, I just tried to make it seem like, let's not hang out together like this. This ain't gonna work. And mostly it wasn't really me, it was them. They were the ones who was like feeling uncomfortable because they were like, man, after, I had found out what was going on. One of the second ex told me that the first ex had confronted him and told him, now man, we supposed to be cool. And I had her first. I had her. Child. That's the type of conversations that men have behind our backs. And I just felt like what about me? I just felt like some kind of like a little piece of meat that they felt like they had passed around, that I didn't even have anything to do with it. It was up to ex number 2 to, decide if he wanted to date somebody who was, in his circle, per se. That's neither here nor there. This is weird, okay? So anyway, back to the show. So P-Nell says that she is not feeling well. I wouldn't be feeling well either if I just saw what I saw. She was just disgusted, right? Because she was thinking in her mind, this man is really sick. He is obsessed. Okay, but you went back to him, sis. And then she says, well, I just don't feel well. I think we should go. And Gary says, oh, well, it was Andy's cooking. And then she says, no, she's pregnant. So they get out to the elevator and he is dogging her. Now, mind you, she's 53 weeks pregnant. Well, that's how pregnant she is, because she started out, she was already 6.5 months when the season finale hit, and now it's a 3-month jump, so she's 53 weeks pregnant. So anyway, and he's just awful to her. He's screaming at her. He even gives her the, gentle shake, like, and even that's traumatic to a pregnant woman. And he told her, well, this is all your fault. Gary, I can't. Gary, I have a headache. I mean, dude, she is pregnant. Okay. Now, it's not like you didn't experience pregnancy with Jasmine. I mean, I know you don't acknowledge Jasmine on this show anymore, but hey, you know what it's like to be around a pregnant woman. She's not going to have a leg spread every 5 minutes. And, in some pregnancies, it's good to have sex to motivate these 53-week pregnancies and get them over with. However, in some pregnancies, you can't even have sex. I was on sex arrest with my second baby because they didn't want to rupture her sac because she was sitting on my cervix. So yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't miss it at all. Okay, that's just me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He's blaming her, and then he tells her that he's going to go home by himself and enjoy, and told her to enjoy his house that he's paying for. Gary is a piece of work. Where did they decide to turn this character not into just a jerk, but I know where they got his character from. This is TV Martell Hope. Yeah, okay. Move right along. Andy and Jordan are in there cleaning up the kitchen, and they just can't keep their hands off each other. That fake chemistry that they have going on, and she's just, telling him, and he was like, well, we need to clean up the kitchen. She said, I'll clean. You just go in there and take off that dress. And womp womp. Next thing, Sabrina is playing therapist to Danny, and Sabrina asks her if her dream started when Preston did. Yeah, probably. I'll be having bad dreams too if I ran a good man away. Mm, and he was here to stay. That's for the blues hoes. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Shout out to the Silk for playing the blues that y'all don't know nothing about. Whoa, yes, ma'am. I ran a good man away. I be having nightmares too, baby. So anyway, she's still being a stereotype. I don't need therapy. I don't need therapy. Like, we're not going to therapy. Child, back. Get you a life and go on over there to that therapist. Next thing, Gary made Hayden let him stay with him. Child, he is a huge bully. He's even bullying his friend. He goes over there, busts up in the house, kaboom, guess who stepped up in the room? And then he's like, man, you owe me. You better let me stay here. And then Hayden's like, no, I don't have to let you stay here, dude. And he's like, yeah, you do, because I'm the one who told you about that your old wife, I forgot her name, Tamara, was the plant. And then he's like, yeah, but I don't owe you nothing else for that. I appreciate it, man. And he said, well, you can stay for one night. And then he tries to make Hayden fix him a drink. So Hayden does what his daddy tells him to do and fixes him a drink. They sit down and Gary toasts the money and bitches. And then he's like, Gary says, Hayden says, I'm about to go to bed, man. I gotta work. Don't you got a job? And then Gary says, will you let these bitches ruin you? Go ahead and go to bed, Grandpa. He is getting on my nerves. Okay. Okay, now Zach is they're back at Zach and Fatima's house at the condo. And Zach is telling Fatima, yeah, baby, I got it made. So my kids gonna have it made too. So what I was about to do is I was about to start me a trust fund for my children. Children. Zach Jr. Zach Jr. by Karen. We don't know what kind of baby that is. We don't even know if that baby is yours. She stomps up the stairs angrily. And then he shouts out to her, why are you stomping up the stairs? And she looks back over her shoulder. Yeah, I mean, what this is, baby. Now he need a DNA test. Fatima is the only person on this show that has a brain. If I only had a brain, the rest of y'all need to sing that song. At the law firm, hey, it says that, hey man, Andy, you look refreshingly happy, but your attitude still stinks. They say, what do you want? Then he says, Andy, Gary is acting really strange. And then, side note, I just want to say they may have changed Andy's wig, but that head is still empty. Still not eating. And he was like, man, I think, he's up to something. No, I mean, we had a great time at my house. I could tell anything was wrong. Girl, stop. Now, you know that there's something wrong with Gary. And he said, well, I'll just say this. The man is creepy. He forced himself into my house after you guys' dinner. I know he's up to something. And the next scene, in the same scene, Fatima busts in the door. She's like, ew. And then she said, is he bothering you? And She was like, no, we're just talking. And then she says, why don't you guys just squash this beef? And Fatima says, they look at each other and they like, no. Back at the salon, the Fresh Start salon, they hadn't started yet. We have Karen and her balloon belly. She's hanging pictures. Pam walks in. She's like, girl, you don't have no business on that ladder. Correct. The delivery man comes in. He's fine. Pam flirts with him. So she opens up the box and there's Pam's concoctions. And Karen says, what is this stuff? And she says, oh girl, this stuff from my hairline. We're gonna start using these products in the client's hair. And then she's like, oh, Karen, this stuff smells awful. What is this? Pam said, bull semen. I could barely get it out, y'all. Bull semen. Yes, bull semen. And then we find out Karen said, you're going to have stars. You're going to have to send all this smelly stuff back. And it's not refundable. It's going to be a part of my hair care line. So don't you understand? I really want to expand myself. Why do you have to expand yourself out of Karen's salon on her dime? If you were going to sell products out of her salon once it's open, the Never Start salon, you need to ask her permission. That's all you had to do. People sell stuff they concocted out of salons all the time. You know what, by the way, the best place to panhandle, if you've ever been a panhandle like I was by accident, didn't know I was a panhandler that was selling books and knives, but that's neither here nor there. That's a past life. If you ever get into that is the best place you can go to, a hair salon. Because, baby, it's always somebody in there that's willing to buy a CD, a book, or a pair of knives. But that's neither here nor there. Moving right along. So, back at not the law firm, but that Empty Bank and Trust, shout out to Misha, that Sabrina works in. She's on the phone and she gets a call from Karen, and Karen is asking her, does she think that she needs to get a personal loan? And then Sabrina's like, well, you already are on the way to making your salon successful. What do you need a personal loan for? You don't want to get any further in debt. And then she's like, well, I'm running out of money. And then she said, well, come on by the Empty Bank that I work at. That nobody ever is there. But all of a sudden, this Caucasian lady pops up. And we'll talk about it. Now, mind you, she is making this she pops up and says, no personal calls. Now, wait a minute. How is this a personal call when if you heard everything, then you heard, even though that's her friend, you heard that she was inquiring about a loan. So technically, it's not a personal call. It's a friend that knows somebody that work at the Empty Bank and Trust. That's a friend. Well, I take that back. It's no longer the Empty Bank and Trust. It's just the empty new bank and trust that she works at. But anyway, it's a friend calling about a business transaction. So I do my friends like that at the bank. Or I'll tell you what, I'll put it this way. The people who I have formed relationships with at the bank, those are the people who I ask for. I'll put it that way. That's more like it. So at the airline, Phony Macaroni Baloney Tony walks up to Danny and says he needs to borrow some paper. Now, why does he need printer paper if he's a upper crust business fellow at the airline? He's going down to a desk clerk and needs paper from her. You don't have paper all around the area of your office? Stop, boy. So he goes over there and he takes the paper. Danny has the customer. And he's licking her cookie right at the damn desk. And she told him, well, when he got up, she was all refreshed and had her hair in. I can't believe you just did that. He's like, well, I just had to have a taste. And then she said, well, like you had to get in my business. And Sister Sabrina over there, she wasted my time and my wine. You're going to have to replace that wine. Then he said, well, I got something better in mind. Meet me at 15 15 minutes. Ooh, Tony macaroni and bologna. See, here's the deal. Who cares that they interfered with Gary and um and that was a toxic relationship. Who cares that they interfered with Calvin and Sabrina? Nobody. But the interference with constantly putting men roadblocks up with Preston and Danny was foolish. Because, like I said, that relationship never did catch its wings. And now she's in a serious relationship with Macaroni Phony Baloney Tony, who basically stalked her when they met. And he's nasty, licking her cookies in front of the doggone customers. He's supposed to be a higher up at the airport. Mind you. So, okay. So, where am I? Oh, okay. So after that, Danny calls Karen and tells her to meet her and the girls for lunch. She declines because she don't want to be around Fatima, right? So, well, that's the real reason why she declines. She thinks that they may invite Fatima. Anyway, Sabrina goes over to Maurice's house, and Maurice is doing his OnlyFans job. He getting down, he getting nasty. Hello, Sabrina. What are you doing? What are you doing breaking in my house? The door was open. No, bitch, the door was closed. You turned the knob and then it was open. She's like, well, ew, I just came over here to get one of my dresses. Oh, honey, that dress is gone. It's one of these white men that I dance for, do my OnlyFans for. He was loving me in that dress, and baby, I just busted out of it. And she said, well, anyway, you need to get a regular job. And he says, I have a regular job. I make 10 times more than I made at that empty bacon trust. And she takes the handcuffs and he says, anyway, the dress was so ugly. At lunch, they're talking about their men. So now we're at the lunch date and everybody is there except Karen. And Andy says she's having the best sex of her life, and she is now a sex addict. You always were a sex addict because you was addicted to Gary's long dong schlong, hung like a horse. And it's like, ooh, he's hung like that. How did you see it? She said, girl, I walked in, I saw it 1, 2, maybe 3 times. And it says, well, Jordan is not hurting in that department either. And then they all talk about therapy. And then it was like, well, Fatima was encouraging Danny to go therapy. She said, no, I'm not going to tell you try it. My therapist is awesome. She lives 4 hours, but I say try her out and you might like her. And then she was like, I might just do that. And then as comfortable as she's feeling, she goes ahead and tells them about Zach trying to set up a trust. And Karen walks in and she dips out because nobody sees her. And she didn't stay and listen to the conversation about the trust. But, she's definitely jealous. And then she said, Danny says, Zach should definitely hold up because I don't think that baby's. And then she cut herself off. And then Fatima says, me either. I think she should get the DNA test. And Danny and Andy are just looking at each other like, well, you don't think the baby is Zach's? We don't know who that baby dad is. Now, new writers, I'm calling on you. Will y'all hurry up and wrap this thing up about the baby daddy? Now, that's another thing that's carried over from the show that y'all didn't wrap up. Wrap this up. Wrap it up. Let us know who the father of this balloon is. The balloon baby. Now, back at the apartment, down to Dana's place, she tells Tony that she decides to go to therapy. Now, mind you, they're all leaving this brunch really, really, really tipsy. And so Sabrina goes back to her estate, and Rich is there. And she's kissing Rich, and she's ready to get it humping and bumping and thumping. And Rich is like, "Oh, hold up, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I mean, can we get warmed up first?" She said, "Oh, we don't have to get warmed up. I mean, it's time for us to try to start a family and make a baby." No, I don't want kids. Say what? Oh, you just saying that right now. You really want kids? I mean, you just gonna live with your wife in a big old empty house with no kids? Who said that? I don't want to get married no more. Been there, done that. I want to be in a serious relationship, but I don't want to be married no more. And then she says, "We could change that." Uh-oh. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Don't even try, girl. This is about to be the end of your relationship with this dude. He don't want no kids. When a man says he don't want no kids, he don't want no kids. Stop. So back at Fatima and Zach's place, she's the only one who is not really, really tipsy like that. And she tells him, "Go get a real DNA test." I said what I said. He says, "Those girls are filling your head up with stuff." And she says, "You don't know if that baby is yours, and you're trying to set up a trust. Use your brain. You could be so stupid at times." Right. Exactly. Naive and trusting, gullible more than stupid. So he's like, "I'm just gonna go to the gym." And she was like, "I love you, but every time you say you love me, but you about to say something. Go on to the gym, friend, because she's about to get hot with you. Don't make her pull out that gold gun." Like like what's her name? Madam did, they cousin now. Now back at the office is Gary's place. Okay. Gary gets a call from Hay. And wait a minute. Gary is on the phone, not with Tame, but one of his other women. That's what happened. And so he's like, "Hey baby, I can't wait to see you. I want you to fly out, and I'm so hard thinking about you." And next thing you know, his old friend busts in. He's like, "Man, we got to pack up. We got to get the hell out of here. The investors are backing out, and they pulling out, and they think this is some Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme. We got to get out of here." He's like, "Well, hold on one second. Who's investigating us? The SEC, man. We got to get out of here. We got to scrub these records clean. You got to scrub yours clean. If you haven't started, you better start." He said, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. This can't be real. This can't be real. We're making money hand over fist. How did they find out about us?" Well, I mean, that's what the government does. Next thing you know, Hayden calls. This is where Hayden calls. He says, "Man, I don't have time for this. I got some things I got to do right now. I can't talk right now." And then Hayden says, "Man, the FBI is at my house looking for you. What are they doing here?" Dun dun dun. Then the show ends. That is the end of that episode recap. Tell me what you guys think of it. I'm not getting any progression from these writers on my end. I give this episode a C minus. I'm still not happy with the quadrangle, and I'm still not happy with the them. Excuse me. Separating Preston and Danny so she can be fun macaroni baloney Tony and Karen's balloon baby bump. And then them only allowing the only person to be smart on here who wasn't a part of the original sister circle be Fatima. And we have lawyers and bankers and airport clerks, and none of them got any sense. Well, Fatima, child back. Anyway, let me get out this. This is moving on way too long. The episode was not good enough for it to be 30 minutes, for it to be a 30-minute recap. That's neither here nor there. I think my storytelling is what made it longer. This is Country Conversations with Diva D. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Again, Country Conversation with Diva D. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Juicy.